You know, something that Destiny said that I think probably needs proper dissection is he said that this is OnlyFans for men.
And if you're looking for conservative people and you're in those areas, you'll find them there. But I feel like people aren't setting themselves up in a conservative lifestyle.
In the black community, the church is lost, bro. It's done.
Where are all of these single moms coming from?
Where are they coming from? When you look at intersectionalism, the reason why there's so much conflict there, the reason why there's so much conflict in this country when you have these discussions and these debates and stuff is because we're starting to get off into the weeds with certain ideas and certain ideologies. And it would be one thing if people lived their lives and didn't try to force their lifestyle or force their ideology onto everyone. But that's exactly what we live in nowadays. In fact, we live in a society now where if you're a traditional person, if you believe in certain things, like let's say for argument's sake that you're a religious person, let's say that you're a Christian, let's say that you believe in the nuclear family, let's say that you believe in just being a regular guy with a regular wife and children, you're under attack today by all of the people that are like, oh, you're old fashioned and that's not progressive, and we have to be understanding of this group and that group. You're literally under attack. Like most men that are traditional men are constantly getting a finger wagged in their face. That's the reason why the whole red pill concept and, you know, the manosphere, whether it's the white one or the black one, that's the entire reason it exists, because men feel that they're being marginalized, ostracized from society, and treated like they're just
and not represented,
innately toxic. Yeah. And that's wrong.
I want to see his response to this.
Again, there are a lot of things that you're agreeing with, or that you're saying that I agree with. I just don't think that they're that gendered. When you talk about like getting off into the weeds with certain ideologies and attacking people for not believing in the right things, I think we do have a big problem with that today in society. I think a lot of it comes from the left kind of having their thumbs on a lot of the levers of cultural power.
Yeah,
but I don't think that
entertainment.
I just don't think it's like a gendered thing. That's like a political, ideologically driven thing. Now, when you talk about like men are traditional men and they're getting fingers wagged in their faces, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's happening. I feel like people mix up a lot of the toxic aspects of red pill shit with like traditional things. If you're a good guy, you're working a good job, you go to church, and you're looking for like a traditional partner, you've got your shit handled, I don't think anybody's wagging their finger at you. In fact, because I've talked to a lot of conservative women, I think conservative women are dying to find men like that. But oftentimes, one of the biggest complaints that I hear, and I know men have the loudest voices online, so you hear about like all the whores and sluts and blah, blah, blah. When I talk to traditional women or conservative women, their complaints are always like, I have no fucking idea where you can ever find a good conservative man. They don't exist. It's a bunch of schizoid young men that sit in their basements, play computer games all day, and fantasize about like having a harem of 50 women they fuck, like the guys on Fresh and Fit tell them to do, right? Like I don't feel like places in the manosphere are these factories of like good, positive, solid young men that are like good conservative men, because their engagement with religion is really bad. Look at fucking I don't want to go down that whole Andrew Tate road if you don't want to, but like Andrew Tate coming out as Islamic after fucking running a casino and a cam business is like the two biggest, most haram fucking things you can do in Islam, right? Or like a lot of these guys saying we need to embrace more like Christian values while telling you to have one-ended open relationships where you're fucking younger and younger women every year. I don't think that these are the centers of society that are going to be creating the like the traditional conservative man of tomorrow. It's just like the new marketing ploy that's being sold. And then all these guys that are falling into this shit, I call it OnlyFans for men, because it's just like it's rotting and destroying their minds, thinking that, or leading them into thinking they're going to be something that they're never going to be. And it's not preparing them for the future and in a way that I think a conservative person would be.
You know, something that Destiny said that I think probably needs proper dissection is he said that this is OnlyFans for men. And I think that that does such a disservice and it discredits so much of the content creators that spend so much of their time creating content to try to help men. I don't think that's necessarily a fair assessment of the entire space. Could it be a fair assessment of some portions of the spaces? Yeah, for sure. But I don't think that it's a fair assessment. I think that it's, you know, those on the top, you know, or those that he looks at are those that he's talking about. But I don't think that it's a fair assessment. There's so many people that are down up into the space that genuinely want to help, that genuinely care. You know, so when you look at OnlyFans, what benefits does OnlyFans have? Like, what benefit? So you're saying that all of the content in the space does not benefit men? When men Google, why did she break up with me? And she comes over and she finds like an AMS, and he finds like an AMS video. Shout out to AMS. And then they get the game from AMS. When they see a debate that's happening up on CNN or something like that, and you just feel somewhere deep down in your spirit that the points that are made are not in favor of a man, and you Google commentary regarding this situation and you find an MTR to get a different perspective. Is it not beneficial for that? I can't even count the amount of times that I've gone into a discussion night or something like that, and my thoughts, feelings, and ideologies were completely shunned. It wasn't up until I started creating content on the internet, and I was like, oh shit, more people think like me. Oh, oh shit, I do matter. My points are valued. Yo, just real quick, I'm surprised Destiny said that. If I ever had a conversation with him, I'd want to ask more questions about what does he mean about that OnlyFans shit. The amount of men that send me emails that might say something to the effect of, because of your content, I'm now in a much better relationship. Because of your content, the thing that I was going to do to myself to end life is no longer going to happen. Thank you. The amount of women that I get emails from that just say, or DMs, or like join my Patreon, just say, yo, thank you. Because of your content, I now understand my father better. I now understand my son better. I show my son your videos so we can get a different perspective on life, a male's perspective on life. To just compare it to OnlyFans is so much of a bastardization of the countless hours that so many content creators put in within the space in order to come up with as much non-biased content as what they possibly can. But let's keep going.
Hear that. It's always women taking the most negative things of men and then touting that as empowerment.
Have you heard of this? I know you've heard the saying. Have you heard of the saying, dress for the job that you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea is like you should carry yourself through life like you're where you want to be, because that's how you're going to find that place essentially, right? I'll hear people say this, like, I don't know where to find conservative women. And then you like ask them, well, where are you looking? And they're like, well, I've tried Tinder, I've gone on Bumble, I've gone on Hinge. And it's like, okay, do you go to a church? Like, do you have a community of like conservative friends? Have you been involved in any political or community organizing? Because like, especially in the Black community, right? Like women are like the backbones of all of these things. And if you're looking for conservative people and you're in those areas, you'll find them there. But I feel like people aren't setting themselves up in a conservative lifestyle. Like,
I wonder if Destiny thinks that conservative women within the Black community are as numerous as liberal women. I think that's what underpins his argument. I wonder if he really thinks that.
If you tell me you're looking for a conservative woman and you're not part of your local church, like, Jesus, that's like the #1 place to start, right? Because these are where, off of churches, are where all of your community building activities are going to stem from. Every church has a bulletin board where people are doing things. A lot of churches are involved in like community outreach. You can volunteer. You can get a ton of people this way, but people aren't willing to go out and look for it. Yeah, but I feel like in terms,
I think it completely negates the overwhelming amount of dogma that this liberated culture has infused within the dating culture today. I think it completely ignores that. But then again, you know, maybe Destiny doesn't have an anchor for how messed up that it is.
in terms of that type of advice, I never hear red pillars talking about
He
that.
might be ignorant
It's always
regarding
like the sexual marketplace and high value men are these things you have to do to exploit the dynamics of the evolutionary psychology of women so that you can fuck as many women as possible, and that's why you're gonna do 1%. And like that's the message.
talks so
I hear
damn
over and
fast,
over and
though.
over and over again. Rather than like look up your local archdiocese, start going to your church every Sunday, and when church ends, everybody's chatting with each other because that's what they do. Sometimes the priest or whatever will come out and talk to people, and you just like talk to people and you meet friends that way. Like that's how you organically grow a group of friends. But I don't hear that advice ever in the manosphere. I never hear that.
I hate the reason why you never hear that in the manosphere is because the biggest hoes usually go to church. They're usually the most promiscuous. They're usually the
to atone for their
most
sins.
trifling. Like guys wish it was that easy. They could just go to church and find a good wholesome girl at church. They can't. That's where
This point's gonna blow Destiny's mind.
The worst ones are at.
Angry Man was like a motherfucking jackal in the bushes, just waiting for him to stop talking so we can hit him with that jab. Oh, them church girls, talk about it. Put a 1 down in the chat if you agree with Angry Man. That the nastiest women can be found in the church, atoning for their sins. Now, the church is where you go find a lovely young lady. The church is where you go right at communion. You lock eyes with her from across the pew. Ah, Cindy Lou, I've been waiting to talk to you for so long. Amen. Well, that's where you find the nastiest, the ones down into the building.
On average, do you think the women in church are going to be more promiscuous, or like women that are like at a bar or a club?
Bro, they do
don't
the
matter.
same thing.
See, to me, it doesn't matter so much. Like, dudes ask me, like, where was the best place to go meet women? And, like, when it comes to the level of promiscuity, there's no best place. There's no best place. If that's the thing that you're anchoring as far as where should I go? Like, yeah, like, you know, if you want a woman that is probably more disciplined, you probably want to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? You can find more disciplined women on average in the gym as opposed to just, you know, walking on in the street on average, right? But when it comes to promiscuity, MTR's field studies have shown that it's just random. you just never know. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going.
They're twerking.
Every woman everywhere. There are no more conservative
They're
women.
twerking and they're twerking in church. When you look at the black community, the vast majority of the men don't even go to church anymore. They've checked out. And the reason why they checked out is because of the ridiculousness that's going on in the church. You got the Baptist preacher actually having sex with women in the congregation. You've got women actually twerking in church. You've got the single mothers sitting on the front pew of the church.
Being forgiven for their sins.
The church, especially in the black community, I can't speak for the white community, but in the black community, the church is lost, bro. It's done.
Where are all of these single moms coming from?
Where are they coming from?
Destiny. We about to go there, Destiny. Destiny took the pylon. Yeah, you're right. I may not be that educated when it comes to this. Here goes the pylon. He launched it. Destiny, you about to go there? Where they coming from? They coming from the dudes that are fucking them. And listen, my assumption is by listening to the angry man's previous comments, I think he's going to have certain rebuttals for this one as well. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
because if the church is fucked because it's all like single moms and people like, it seems like it takes two to tango, right? Like it can't just be all on black women.
Actually,
right?
no, it does. Actually, no, it doesn't take two to tango. And the reason why is because what's going on in the black community is you have a large group of women that are actually having sex with multiple men, having children with multiple men.
Right, and it's more times often than not the same types of men. I don't like the way that he started that because it does take two to tango. It absolutely does take two to tango, okay? Unless she's going to sperm banks and then impregnating herself or something like that. Besides that, yes, it takes two to tango. This specific point, I never take accountability off of the dudes because you have control of your seed. Protect your goddamn seed. Protect it. Protect it. I ain't gonna hold you up. I messed up a couple of times in my life as well, but the pullout game is exceptionally strong, all right? But it depends on your genetics. I don't got no leaky faucets. Some of y'all out here with leaky faucets going in raw daddy. Stop it right now. There's some men that down here in the chat right now that have kids right now because she said that she was taking the birth control. No, it's on you. Protect yourself. I don't want to hear nothing else outside of that. Wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. If you got a kid, it's your fault.
You actually have twice as many women in the black community have children as the men. Twice as many.
Yeah, but why is that?
They like them.
I mean,
there are some cities where there's like 3 black women for every 1 man that's not in jail, right? Like, I mean, like, depending on the city that you live in, the availability for
where they at
like,
though? What cities is that?
There's a number.
Is fierce.
There's a number of factors. The competition is very fierce, and there's a number of reasons for that. Number one, we have a small percentage of the population. Black women, last time I checked, outnumbered the men by about 3 or 4 million, something crazy like that. Part of the reason.
Yeah. So if he says black, we're about 50-50 within the country, but if you take into account prison populations, gay men, if he says actively single and searching for men versus men actively searching for women, then yes, it's about 3-ish million or so.
Is because of Planned Parenthood. In our community, they actually go to Planned Parenthood to the tune of 367,000 per year. That's 1,000 every day. So that already right there, you have a lower population of just black people in general due to that. In addition to that, there has been an issue with mass incarceration thanks to good old Joe Biden with the 94 crime bill. So you have a lot of brothers that are locked up. So that diminishes the amount of black men as well. In addition to that, you have the cultural problem of black women not being very easy to get along with and not being easy to cohabitate with. So you have black men who seek relationships outside of the black race, you know, outside of the country, you know, with the passport bros, with SYSBM, all of those different things. So then you end up with an even lower amount. And what happens is you have sisters, you have black women out here that are more prone to deal with what people call the Pookies and the Ray Rays. And they'll go out here and they'll have kids, they'll have children with one, two, maybe even 3 different men. And the reason why that is because...
And then call to a Kevin Samuels show and be 87 pounds overweight, asking where did all the good men go?